Yes, is it Soria going crazy, or is it us watching the movie who are crazy? This is a bit of a novelty, a horror movie from Cambodia. But before we have a look at it, let's check out what it's about. Soria is a budding manga artist looking for inspiration for her debut novel. Alongside her boyfriend Daichi, she returns to her homeland of Cambodia to reconnect with her long-lost aunt who lives in an infamous apartment complex called Meta. Everything goes well at first, but after she encounters a ghostly little girl in her dream, a series of deaths and murders occur, and everything traces back to Soria and her dead mother. Hello everyone, I am the Arty Dance and welcome to SHOCKMANIA. If you're new to the channel, here we mostly look at Asian horror movies, stuff a little bit different, stuff that's coming out in a more Western market, to see if this is something that you would be interested in watching. And I'm sure you're probably thinking, well, I've never seen a Cambodian movie before, so maybe you're willing to take the risk on it. Personally, I have seen 3 Cambodian movies. This would make it the 4th one. And I have to say, I don't think I found any of these Cambodian films to be anything amazing at all. So if you were a little bit curious, thinking, well, what's a Cambodian movie like? Think of it like this. It's a mix between modern Thai movies and 90s Hong Kong horror films, with inspiration taken from popular J-horror films and modern Taiwanese films. Quite a mix, isn't it? And it also means that when it has a mix like that, the movie kind of suffers and doesn't have its own identity. And indeed, this movie does suffer from that lack of identity. It starts off in Japan and features several Japanese cast members, with a fair chunk of the dialogue in this movie also being in Japanese, alongside Khmer and the sporadic English dialogue. You know, if I was to think about what this film could be like, it's a little bit like Building N. Now, that's a J-horror movie that was released a couple years ago. And then it also kind of mixes in with the Taiwanese film The Tenement Downstairs. Then there's a bit of inspiration from Indonesia's Satan Slaves 2, so specifically Part 2, the Yoko Anwar sequel. And then you've got it set in this gritty environment that Hong Kong horror movies used to do so well in the pre-handover days. That means that the building is the main focus of the film. Well, the building and the spirits that live within it. Now, this is a 90-minute movie, but it feels so slow. Straight away, we know that the Meta apartments are going to be some creepy thing. Obviously, because that's what the movie's about. But the frustration sets in when the taxi driver gets all worried when he realizes where his passengers want to go. That's when all this typical foreshadowing starts to take place. Then there are the typical red herrings that I started identifying and wondering if they were going to be important to the plot. So for example, the real estate agent and Soria's aunt. For sure, I thought they were fakes who were going to trick her. Then I remembered, well, I wasn't watching a Chinese horror movie, so they're probably legit characters. If you are familiar with Thai films, then you'll know that some of them can get very creepy. Thai filmmakers are excellent at building atmosphere and using techniques to unsettle the audience. Now, given Cambodia's very close proximity to Taiwan, it clearly does at times feel like a Thai movie. That was a very confusing sentence to say. The dark hallways, the creepy photos, the punishment room, it just gives off Thai movie vibes. But then the movie channels Satan Slaves 2 and introduces some kind of cult that does something based on some spirit that's never explained to the audience, and by the end of the film you're just supposed to nod along and say, yeah, okay. As the final scene rolls around with Soria drinking a glass of milk. Sorry, but all I could think of was WTF. I probably could have forgiven this if the movie wasn't a bit of a technical mess though. Specifically, it's the audio, and unless I managed to watch a poorly mixed version, the soundtrack is atrocious. Sometimes you can't hear the dialogue, and if it wasn't for the subtitles, I wouldn't have known that there were actually people talking in certain parts of the movie. Sometimes the music is so loud that when the dialogue is spoken, the mixing goes all wacky. Coincidentally, wacky is an official filmmaking term. Other times it feels like the movie is in mono. What went so wrong here? And honestly, don't get me started on the strange aspect ratio of the movie, which I have fixed in all the footage that you have just watched of this film. As you can tell, I probably wasn't overly enthused by this one. So using the patent pending ghost rating, which stands for great horror, stupid trash, I give this 2 ghosts out of 5. A lot of people are going to sit there and go, well, I've never seen a Cambodian movie, and for a Cambodian movie to get released widely like this one, it must be awesome. And that's the kind of mindset that I think you need to put away. You need to watch every movie on its own merit, and watching it in isolation, you've got to look at this film and go, it didn't really tell me the story that I wanted it to tell me. The ending, while it kind of does make sense now that I think back and look at it, it's still something that you're probably not going to get on the spot. You probably zip the video back a little bit, watch it again, and pick up a couple of little clues. One of the clues is explained midway through the movie, but again, it's not until the end where you see these things come into play. And look, I don't expect a movie to sit down and explain the whole thing to me. I remember the first Silent Hill movie did that, and it was real off-putting for the movie to just condescendingly explain everything to you. I don't want that. But I also don't like to be left so completely in the dark that I'm just, by the time I get to the end of the film, I go, what the hell did I watch? And unfortunately, that's how I felt by the end of this film. But your mileage may vary. How does that acronym go? YM. Anyway, who cares? Tell me in the comments below if you've seen Tenement, if you're interested in seeing Tenement, what your thoughts are. Do you want to watch it? Will you go see it? Will you buy it on streaming? Blah, blah, blah. I'd be curious to know, because this one should get a very wide release very soon. As always, I am the Artie Dance. Thank you so much to Kurt and Antony for being channel members of SHOCKMANIA. Thank you. I really appreciate the support. Like, subscribe, all that other jazz. I'll catch you next time.